It should be. If not, I got one. I'll just stop it. Hey, I got 2 or 3 brain drugs.
Yeah.
Ooh, what's that? There was a bird in the camera. Big bang. Something fell down here. And then Julie's like, down, and she was like, I can't. But something ran into the window. And I said, I don't see anything. We're here. There's like his plane just sitting there. He's like stuck. You can't hear it. Actually, the feathers like still on the window. And I was like, I'm not going in there because if he's messed up, that thing's gonna mess me up. And then we go up in the door, right? We yelled at it, and it flew away. Like he was jacked up. Yeah, all through those.
All right, have business card. Let's take it off here.
Oh, wait.
I not on me.
He doesn't care. He wins.
Over. Last year, I was over there doing some stuff, and we've been seeing some hawks flying around there and a lot of crows. The one neighbor told me that there's a nest over there. And during the fall, there's three turkeys, wild turkey farmers. It was, man, there's, Western High School. Yeah.
Tomorrow? Yes. Yep, the new building? Yes. Yeah, you'll do that. You want to? Awesome, that'd be cool. Yeah.
They just.
Here's the champion again.
Brady was.
Yeah.
Wasn't he the one previous to them?
Got business cards? Okay, if there's not one up there.
Did you have one?
Yep, you're in me. I put you in here.
As well.
Did you get Brock?
Just put my name on Bob's. He's got the lucky card anyway.
Walter, do you have one up here? I didn't see one for
Thank
you.
Talking about
Did they?
Yeah, no idea what was still on rated.
So the Yankees already bought the World Series. And the Dodgers already bought the World Series with the NL. So the Dodgers already won.
Okay. The Royals.
On, so they said, all the only away. Well, one.
Friday is also very rolling me.
I got it.
This even thirty. Oh, this is
I'm going to this now. I mean, like say I'm doing something.
Yeah.
The development.
But no, you're right. I put it Got everything.
You finance? Yes. Wow.
Getting, yeah, what do you?
You're pretty good here. One. Yeah. That was a flip from, I think it was each had Kipler. They finally settled.
Yeah, this one went under.
You guys didn't, just came in, you didn't put your business card in,
Talk about.
you go in the, for the giveaways.
Yeah. They wanted.
Danny needs.
Mhm.
We saw.
I got one thing for you to double. Definitely in your house, so. When they're. When they're talking about, they had up there. And your albums of.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Major work.
I'll do it.
They're been buying places and it's just renovating. They, some of their town staff are used. Whether they rent them, but at the long term, they commit to like a semester or two. Yeah. Your college.
Yeah, they are.
You know, we. They wanted asbestos testing. Everybody. Right on that. Then they get back to the one. What's going to cost? Yeah, back to what they like. It's a 1950 something. You know it's there.
Yeah.
No, and you're going to rock there.
Pretty good. Oh, shape still.
You know.
I was sore.
I was very sore. It was, fire
was very
to stage.
What a spray.
She doesn't tell me. Yeah, so.
I just want to wax them. Just pick as a mess.
And each three.
That's right.
We find they keep that. Hey, it's got that.
I get it.
You know.
So I was going.
Yeah. Real quick. You can see it have my house sold, somebody maybe an office, look at. You live in there. Your rocks. Right. One out there, it's at the end of your house, and so.
Yeah.
It's a college. I don't know if something. You could ask.
Ready, so join the rip. And we start the like allegiance.
There we go.
I.
But it was just by of the meeting to say. Which is there. One nation under God. Indivisible with liberty and justice.
25, here we are. Mentioned already, if you just came in, do you have a business card? Please see Belinda, we have a couple giveaways as usual. We'll do the drawing at the end. Get this started with some gratitude. We got a big group today. Appreciate you guys all showing up. I'll start with the gratitude, break the ice. I want to thank Julie. He's been amazing. She's back there. Everyone look at her. Julie's just been, I mean, you guys have seen probably so much of the changes as far as just how she treats everybody when they come in, things she does above and beyond what I would ever expect her to do. We've had some awesome slides that she created last minute, yesterday, just to tweak them and make them nice, but she's been great. Julie's awesome. I want to thank, obviously Rachel and Jen. They've been crushing it with the last couple of months. We've had a lot of big events come up, as well as just everything else that we have to do on the back end of things. We got a lot of renewals going on, just end of the year stuff. So I want to thank all the people that work here. And then, of course, you guys, we ended the year on an amazing note. We'll go over the stats here in a little bit, but we were profitable. We did really well, given the fact that the overall nation is 30% down. We weren't at that trend. So you guys put in the work and it showed. So appreciate it. All right, let's get 5 or 6, maybe more if you guys want to. We got a big group here. I know you're.
Came through and showed some houses.
Hey, scary, late, oh, the snow. Oh,
Thankful.
you might have to go. You don't need to go. This is way too ridiculous.
Yeah.
But Jared?
What?
Grateful for, you know, all the guys, Josh Messer, for, they guys have been really helpful. Thank you. That's all.
If you haven't met Jared yet, please do. This guy, he's get over there. I think he'd probably be most of us here anyways, but, he's putting in the work, he's putting in the effort. He's willing to do open houses every week, so if you have one, give it to this guy, he's ready to go. I love how he shows up every day. Yes.
I want to say Rachel as well. I mean, all the back end stuff. We just had a couple ALC things going on and she does such a good job. It's always so thorough. We get, I just appreciate all the work she does.
Chat.
You just stole my thunder, but I'm thankful for global warming. Imagine how cold it would be if we didn't have to.
Well, they're probably wondering what that even means.
Yeah, they're ice skating in New Orleans.
Crazy. Like the movie Day After Tomorrow, the entire United States is blanketed. Who else? Get a couple more.
I'm grateful for that hometown event that they put on.
Very helpful. Oh, the accent, yeah, that's pretty fun.
And nobody got hurt.
Andrew was on my team and he was sucking and.
Too much information there, Ron.
Every story. Then we made a trade. I didn't initiate the trade, but the trade happened. And then, of course, he came in clutch on the last throw of both games and beat us. So I was like, whatever, that's what we did. Right. Brian, yeah.
So I just want to say I'm thankful for Tina, the way that.
Yeah.
And all the work that she's done, and it just really, it reflects on Keller Williams, so it's not just Tina, but she represents us well, and brings a good name to our company, so I'm
Yeah.
thankful for that.
Tina, thank you. We have more to talk about with that one. Anybody else? For sure?
I'm thankful for the compassion at Keller Williams. I went through a difficult step in the family and Jen and Ryan are in, so I'm.
Everything okay with that now? Now you're going through some stuff. So. All right, last call. Anyone? Brian, Brock?
We're happy with Dave Hook and just the KW culture. It's really helped our business a lot. So
Yeah, Dave was a big influence, obviously, on you guys making your decision. We've had Dave here before, and I'm sure we'll try to get him back here this week. He runs an empire, basically, of real estate. Anyone else? Let's go on. Awesome, thank you. Belinda, you want to take this one, this is your slide.
Okay, give
It
back.
is our cultural icon again, because you can argue with that, because such a great job with just getting us involved in the community, giving back, so this was on for her.
So, ALC met and we decided, and I think it was because of Kate said something, I don't even know, last year, but, why can't we do something every month? Because when I went into Life Path Ministries, the need is so great. You go down there and it makes you, I want to cry. Cause I didn't know people lived like that. Makes you want to cry. Anyway, we talked about it. And so every month now to get into when you come to the business meeting, we're going to try to give back and take something that Life Path needs. Right now, toilet paper's at the top of their line. They go through 100 rolls a day. So if we can help even one day to help them get through with all the people down there. If you guys have not been down there, your eyes will be open. We'll be going back there again for Red Day. The other thing is so right now it's toilet paper, but we'll be coming up on Red Day. So that's coming. So keep that in the back of your head. We'll be doing our code drive again this year. We've got lots of ways for us to give back. So keep tuned to that. If you're not giving back, you're missing out. So should I tell them about the codes?
Yeah, yes, do, please do.
So 42 coats, I called Logos Academy downtown. They take kids off the streets and put them in private school. And they have to get sponsorships. They can't, these kids don't even come with clothes. So anyway, it's poverty down there. They're doing an awesome, awesome job. Anyway, I called them, say, how can we help you this year? They said we have 42 kids that don't have coats. So we brought it up, we got 42 coats, I went down to deliver, there was a mom. And I don't know, there was a mom there that has 4 kids, husband left her, 4 kids. She said she stopped eating, she eats like every other day, every third day or whatever, to start saving money for coats for her children. So they called her to tell her I was coming with the coats. And she met me there and she just stood there and cried. You don't know what I've been going through. You don't know what the relief that woman had because we had coats. I'm like, listen, I told the school, please let us know you have a family like this. We want to know so that we can help. So anyway, that woman gave me hugs. So that I want to make sure you guys all know that those hugs came. I forgot to bring the thank you card. We got some thank you cards from Logos Academy, also from Life Path Ministries. Some of you probably don't know, but every time we've done little things, I just go down there. And they know me at the back door now. They see me coming. They bring out people and tell me I'm loading. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't answered people. But anyway, we're making a difference is all I'm gonna tell you. So please help me, help them. So when we bring up these things, it is they're desperate. That mom, I'm telling you, if I'd have brought her here, you ought to have been willing to do whatever. And she's got a very sad story. But anyway, we did help on that and thank you, 42 coats, all brand new too.
Our lives move so fast, so sometimes it's great to hear stories like that and how we're impacting, if you brought a parrot or brought supplies, I mean, that's huge to some people. So definitely, as we go into these next few office meetings, just try to remember to bring something in for, and then we're giving those to people in need.
Is there a
But
list?
we're also doing Venmo if you forget, right? You can.
Yeah.
If you don't want to copy, you just want to do the Venmo thing.
I take anybody's money and I'll do the shopping. I've done it before.
Can we put that, like, what's needed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have it out every year. Right now, they just said if for the winter, if I will just do toilet paper, they'd be amazed.
Okay.
So right now, if we can just.
So do we know what February's need is, or should we?
Yeah, just toilet paper, yes. For right now, until we change it, we're just gonna stick with the toilet paper.
Appreciation, we did the Toys for Tots every year and they were very thankful. Again, giving back, that's what we want to do. Belief system, just shout them out, let's go.
Integrity, do the right thing.
Customers always come first.
Commitment in all things.
Communication, speak first to understand.
Teamwork together, everyone achieve results.
That's right, he said it, as you were saying, so it's like equity opportunities for all.
Success, results,
Great. And we have a lot of things in here today. This is Keller Williams belief system. These are things that we practice every day in our personal and professional life. Remembering these as you go through business or even personal relationships definitely can change your life for the positive. All right, we had an awesome holiday party, guys. Thank you so much. It was a heck of a time. I think we're just gonna keep running with that same play. Everyone seems to enjoy it. And thank you to you guys for making that such a fun event. Here we are. Lady of the Year. Realtor of the Year award goes to Pina. Pina, and she had that last Thursday at the Outdoor Country Club. Some of us missed it. Unfortunately, we had some ALC stuff going on, but Tina was awarded Realtor of the Year. She deserves it. We know how she has been with RAAC year after year. It's not a salaried position, so it's more of a volunteer position, and she is
Money, trust me.
She is dedicated to her time. So, Tina, you put in a lot of hard work. You represented Keller Williams at such a high level. Again, congratulations. What we wanted, we have a little gift card because of all your hard work. We're gonna treat you to the Hershey Spa. Thank you so much, Tina. Next, we had Roxanne. She is now on the board. She was voted in last year. And, what was it, October for the RAC event, and she is now part of that. Roxanne now is gonna be our, hopefully take some time off of Tina and be the representative, as well as Reed, wherever Reed's here. Reed's been putting in his time too. Are you 2 years past president now? This is your second year, so.
Yeah.
We definitely love to have representation from this
And
office.
also Brian too.
Yeah, Brian was a few years ago, so he understands the time that you have to put into it. All right, we have some debuts as far as first time, so I want to make sure, and if I miss somebody in the last 30 days, please just shout out. I'm sorry, but Dylan Durbin, who is on Vince's team with Aaron, knocked out two. He had a closing, and then he also did two more under contract. So big shout out to Dylan, because he's been doing it for a little bit. Now it feels like in the winter he's having his best month ever. Debbie, I told Debbie, there you are. Debbie, how long have you been licensed with them? 30 days? 40 days? Something like that. She put a listing on, had a open house, got 2 offers on it. Sold it for over list price, and so she had her first listing under contract in pretty much her first month. That's awesome. Bryce is on Neil Colby's team. He's been crushing it lately. I haven't seen all kinds of different stuff. He's had some of his first closing. Deb, who just joined us from Berkshire. She's only here for a week, got a listing under contract already, so we'd like to see that instant reward with coming here, and hopefully it helps her business. And then Brock's team also got some of their first closings with us as well. So let's give them a round of applause. All right, going over the year-end stats. We show this every month, but just kind of the health of us. We have 188 agents sitting with, actually a little bit more than that right now, because we did add a few this week. We closed 1,600 units. That's a lot of units. A little bit lower than what we've seen in the past, but it's still really healthy compared to some of our other offices around us. Closed sales volume just almost just shy of $500 million. That sounds a little bit better. Listings taken, a future business 1295, listings sold. That started to dip a little bit. We've talked about that in previous months. Hopefully we can turn that corner, but we're very buyer heavy right now. So listings are the key, drives the market share. And for every listing, they say you should be able to get anywhere from 2 to 3 pieces of business. So that's what we want to really focus on. We're probably going to do a lot of trainings around the listing side of things this year to try to change some of those numbers for everybody. Volume, obviously $209 million in listings. We wrote over 1,600 contracts. Our average sales price was I think above the median. It was actually a high, 271 grand. I think what 5-6+ years ago it was like 180. So that's pretty awesome. And then our closed GCI, the commissions that we've paid back to you guys, over $11 million in closed GCI. So good job on a great 2024. Going into our top producers, this is what Julia's working on. I like this a little bit better. So 5th place, we're working on up. Congratulations, Brian Berkheimer, Jeff, and Seth's team, Vince Carapressos on volume and units. Volume units for individuals, Tim Hissler took them. Jeff and Seth took the number 4 spot. And then as far, that's Brock on the leaderboard. Been with us 2 months. So you guys got on there. Awesome. Madison Grove crushed it, and she just had a baby. If you guys follow her, she's out of Chambersburg, but she took the number 3 spots for individual. Brock again, number 3, and then Jeremy Tolley showed up in the units. We got Abby. Abby didn't make it today, did she? Thought she would. Abby Fishel makes a big jump for the last month of the year. That was her record month, so it was pretty cool to see that for her. I know she's been putting in the work. Liz and Colby and Neil's team. Oops, what is that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she had that in there.
Intro.
Stepping it up. And number one. Kate. Thanks. That model picture. All right, K-score, we talk about that every month, but for those who don't know, K-score is it's not free, it's a scholarship to real estate classes, about $450 credit to your schooling. I think a lot of people in here have now taken it or finished it, but if you have anybody that wants to get into real estate for 2025, please send them my way, we'll get them enrolled. And there is the link. We're gonna change that up. We're actually gonna send to our locations page now. It's a little bit more Keller Williams. And then that feeds it right into our command system. Makes it much easier to sign them up, but we'll continue to add more advertising around that. Keeping you guys aware of what's going on. All right, we had a lot of people coming in over the last month. We already talked about Deb. Welcome Deb. John Lucas is on Adrian Young's team. Alexis, is it Alexis with the team? Do we know? Okay, so Alexis just joined us 2 weeks ago, a couple weeks ago. Yeah, so very new. Benny came in, he's with Adrian Young's team as well as Neil. Adrian's bringing all kinds of people over, and Amanda. We got Mr. Jared Brown, he's been here a couple months already, and he's crushing it, and then Adrian Young. So welcome to those guys. January birthdays, anybody in here on Will's up from Florida. I'm sure he's regretting it right now, but maybe not actually. It's not great down there either, but happy birthday to everybody. Dave Onsor, who else we have? Joe Mancuso, Jasmine, happy birthday to you guys. For January. All right, we're going into events tomorrow. If your schedule opened up and you want to go see Damon West, we threw out the Coffee Bean book a lot. He is in our region at Drexel Hill tomorrow. Brady's going, Tina, you're going, I'm going, Kate, Rachel. So we have a few of us going. It's not too late. I think there are a few tickets left. And following his speaking, there's a really good mastermind. Obviously, you can see the panelists there and what they're talking about. They do this once a year, and it's usually around this time. Joseph Lee, I think I saw him on. He has his next class coming up next Thursday, January 30th. Hopefully he remembers. But we're going to talk about more tactics. If you haven't gotten it yet, there's a MREA playbook that has been floating around. We're going to try to get a bunch of copies. I want to make sure that every agent has one. It is the simple format of how to do listings or how to do buyers, how to do open houses. They're plays that agents from the United States run at a high level. They're very successful. So Joe's going to be teaching a lot around that playbook here for this coming year. So that's what his content's going to be, his curriculum. That is next Thursday. Please make sure to come if you can. From our regional side of things, we have Wealth Building Wednesdays, which is coming on February 5th. Always a different speaker, different ways to build wealth in real estate. Career visioning, if you are looking at maybe making a big hire in your life, career visioning is huge. That's a great class. I've taken it like 7 times, but it really helps as far as the hiring process, finding the right people. Family reunions coming up quickly already. I feel like we were just talking about Vegas not too long ago, but back in Vegas, and February 19th is when it starts. It goes for a couple. Actually, it doesn't start. It starts earlier than that. That's our regional thing. When does it start here?
Yeah, finished.
17th.
Yeah.
17th. 17th and 19th. That's our family reunion gathering. If you're interested in going to Vegas, let me know. We'll get you hooked up. And again, just kind of revisiting our events. Yep, first stuff's on. So that's it from my side. We have so real quick, we're gonna go over to Hometown. They're gonna talk about some title stuff. We then got Andrew, he's got some exciting mortgage announcements. And then our man of the hour who's feeding us. I think most of you came for the cheesesteaks, I'm assuming. Danny's gonna go. So, all right, Kathy, Dina. We got the whole crew here today. So just use the mouse. Just click. You need me to run. It's just there as well. Let's click it.
So I'm Dana, and I know you know, okay, Kathy here. We're just gonna run through some of these slides. We're not actually gonna be hitting one today. But if you have any questions about anything afterwards, we'd be more than happy to contact these two girls or myself and answer any questions you have. That'd be great. And we plan on coming back again and doing a little bit longer presentation for you. So, all right.
We're just going over a couple of things that we get common questions from agents or same situations that come up all the time.
That's okay. There you go. So why do we feel it's important to be a member of Alta and this is American Land Title and the Pennsylvania Land Title Association? There's a code of ethics that we follow and we adhere to that. So being a member, allows us to do that. They also advocate for us as the title industry. They have best practices that we follow, which lenders often ask for, and they have valuable resources for us in the title.
So this is a common one I get all the time. Lender says we have clear to close. Where are my numbers? So clear to close on the lending side all the time means that they pass underwriting. Doesn't mean we have final numbers yet. That's when like Andrew's team or another lenders reach out to us and then we start to match numbers. So that usually when you get clear to close from your lender within the next 24 hours, they're reaching out to us to match numbers and then we will send the numbers out. Which means.
There. All right, states, big topic, but real quick. If you have someone that has an estate or that is an estate and you know that, the first question you should ask them is, who's your estate attorney? Hopefully they have one. If not, we definitely need to know who the representative of the estate is, because there's a lot of documents that we need before we can even clear title. So if you can get that information for us, that is crucial. Make sure we get that, because then we can reach out to them, get what we need. Sometimes estates take a little bit longer than just your normal transaction because of the stuff that we need. One thing that we get a lot is pushback, because almost always there will be a holdback for either estate or inheritance taxes. We can't get around it. That is a huge lien. And we love you all, but we don't want to pay that for those people. So we do a holdback until we get a clearance from the state. Can take 3 to 6 up to 9 months, sometimes up to a year, depending on the estate. So that is crucial. If you get something that's an estate, keep in mind, let me find out who this is so we can give it to the title company, and then we'll take it from there. If we have any questions, we'll reach out to you if we need to, but we'll just take that and run with it and get what we need.
Taking title and clearing title, whenever you're going under contract, it's important for us as title to know how you want to take title. Tenants by entirety is a married couple. Joint tenants with rights of survivorship is typically when you have two people who are not married, usually take title. That means if something happens to one of them and the other one gets the property in full. So tenants in common is usually when you have investors, a lot of times taking title. So if one half passes away, the other person, well, the person that passes away, say they have 50% ownership and the other person has 50% ownership and the one passes away, that falls into an estate then for the 50% person that passed away, and they can do whatever they want with their half of the property. So owners, self-explanatory there, usually just a single person buying a house. Clearing title. We get a lot of pushback sometimes when, say, a person buys the property and was married, and then they got divorced, and now they're the seller. We need proof that they were divorced and that that person does not have any rights to the property. Sometimes a spousal waiver sign whenever they purchase the property that forbids them because they're already in the middle of divorce. Sometimes the spouse has to join on the deed. That's very common too. I bought the house by myself. Now I'm married, my spouse has to join on title. That relates to me, actually. I have my own house. When I go to sell my house, my husband's gonna have to join, even though I bought it by myself. No spousal waiver was signed at the time. That makes sense. I know the back, Ryan.
Question.
Yeah.
Regarding like taking title, do you feel that it's the realtor's responsibility to explain
buyer how they should take title, or is that?
We usually will ask the agent if you know. If you don't, we don't have a problem reaching out to them. So, I don't know, would you feel like it's our responsibility?
It's actually a legal question. So we have a handout from the underwriter that we can give them and explain what we told you. But if they need advice on, they come back and say, well, what do you think? We're not married, but we're getting married. What do you think we should do? I always say, I think that you should contact your attorney for legal advice, because that's what you're asking. And we're not attorneys, so we can't give that. But we can give the handout that explains what the 3 options or 4 options are, and then they can go from there. And if they have questions that are simple, we can read what's on that paper.
Say 99%, if you're not married, and you're buying a property together, it's joint tenants with rights of survivorship. And if something happens to one property, it's risking a bad family member getting a hold of it, you know, it would be ugly.
I've had 2 people who were married before that wanted to take title as tenants in common, because it's their second marriage and they want their heirs to get their share. So we always assume that when you're married, you want to be tenants by the entireties, but that's not, you can't assume. So it all depends on your family. So we can always, like, these girls can send you the tenancy card, as we call it, and you can have it in your book of knowledge too, you know, that way when you're talking. But if they need help with anything, you can certainly answer questions. All right, so EINs. So when a business is buying or selling, we always need all the documentation about the business. We need to know what stage they are incorporated or filed in. We have to have an EIN. We need to know who's allowed to sign on behalf of the business. And all these things, we can't always find these things online in the state of Pennsylvania. So we ask that that be provided to us. We do have to order a certificate of good standing from whatever state they licensed in, to make sure they're in good standing with the state. If they're not going to be able to sell the property until they are. Reasons for that could be that they haven't filed tax returns with the state or filed the necessary state documentation. We also have to make sure they have no corporate tax liens against them. So we always have to, those 2 items we definitely have to order if it's not available to us. So, and sometimes if members, there might be 2 members and one thinks they can sign for the company. If it doesn't say it in the organizational documents, then we need a resolution done showing that both of the parties agree this is the person that's going to manage the business for us and sign.
Can you go backwards? Yeah,
Go back.
hold on. Yeah, no clicky. See, so then it's easy as I make it look. You still need to go.
Difference between a power of attorney and an authorization to sign. Power of attorney is needed if they are signing a document that is to be recorded. One thing, it's needed for if somebody is signing on their behalf for all their seller docs, but mainly it is needed because of a document being recorded, which means we also need the original power of attorney. So if your customer says, well, it's the only one I have, I'm really sorry, we will record it, we will return it to them as soon as it's recorded, but we must have the original to be recorded with the document that is being signed using that. Authorization to sign is if buyer or seller signed, they pre-signed their documents or remotely did it, and that something may change on the CD or the Alta at closing, the agent can sign for them, but we do have them sign, the seller or whoever they're signing for, buyer, sign a form that says they authorize so-and-so to sign for them at closing if there's changes on that. So power of attorney always need the original. Power of attorneys are very specific. Also, they must have 2 witnesses. The notary cannot be a witness, must be notarized, and original must come to closing. I think I got it all.
That's it.
Anyone have any questions?
How about death certificates? You need originals of them?
No. Well,
Well, you asked for a copy in the process, and I always have the seller bring the original just to compare it to make sure the copy's not forged at closing.
Yep.
So I usually ask for the original at closing. There's sometimes we can't get it. I have a copy, but if it's a good legible copy, we'll accept it usually, but I don't think I've ever had anybody not bring me. Anybody else have any questions?
Good questions? Good. Thank you, guys. Hey. What time?
Power of attorney, the rules are a little different than if you're selling a house, versus buying a house.
I return out this thing across the border, yeah. That's a Pennsylvania, that's a.
Yes.
With mortgages.
Leonard got approved.
Yes, lender wants to approve a attorney, especially for the client.
Yeah.
We can draft power of attorney, we send it to the lender, they approve it, and then we'll send it off to the client. Based on the-
Fire and like, we cannot create a solar power for anything. No, but we can do a buy. Yes.
Yep.
All right, thank you, guys. All right, next up, Mr. Andrew Harkins.
You click this button every time I ask.
To the right, there you go. Don't click on Jen. Yeah, just there.
Here we go. All right, so we're gonna talk about loan products a little bit. This is one that's becoming like more mainstream that a lot of lenders are starting to offer. So I wanted to give you guys a little bit of education piece on it. Because it might help some of your people that like are a little bit more challenged qualifying. It's basically it's called a DSCR loan. And it's specifically for investment property purchases. So the design is
February 12th.
to be utilized for folks who maybe don't have the best tax returns, maybe can't qualify by the conventional means, or maybe they don't show a lot of income on their tax returns. And the loan itself actually analyzes the rental income of the property. And it has to be to a certain ratio level, and then they will extend credit, okay? It starts at 20% down payment. But again, like I said, they're not looking at tax returns. They're literally looking at the cash flow of the property. Most of them, they want to see that the rent ratio is 1.25%. So that your rent is outpacing the mortgage by 1.25%. And they want to see that you have a little bit of reserves. I'm going to show a quick slide on, how do I go back, buddy?
Go do the math for life.
All right, I'm gonna show a quick slide on like how they calculate this. For whatever reason, it's completely messed up from Verb based on how I put it in the system. But if you have $1,850 in appraiser suggested rent, the math on it is you take that number, divide it by the proposed mortgage payment, and you get your ratio. Your ratio in this situation would be 1.275. So you would then meet the requirement of the rent ratio. Again, they don't need your job history. They purely base this off credit. I think they go down into like the high 600s for this. It's a manually underwritten program. And like I said, it's becoming more mainstream. I wanted to give you guys like an idea on pricing, just so you have like an idea of like what rates would look like on something like this. 740 credit score, 260 purchase price with like 20% down, having 6 months reserves. You'd be like 7.875 with 2 points. The rates aren't super hateful on it. You know, like your traditional investment property rates are probably that or more, maybe with a point, you know what I mean? And that's like income, like fully income qualifying. So that would be on like a 30-year fix. They do offer reduced rates if you take a prepay penalty on it. So if you want to get a better rate and you know you're going to keep the loan, you take a prepayment penalty, which basically inhibits you from paying off the loan for a specified amount of time. If you pay it off, there's a penalty. It's usually 6 months interest, but the rate may be better by 0.5 point, you know, 0.75 point, depending upon the person, they may be open to that. So just wanted to put that out there. You guys may have heard like stuff about this product. So I want to make sure everybody's kind of educated and brought up to speed. Any questions on it?
Is there seasoning?
Seasoning?
How long you can have it?
You know, there is, and it's specific to invest. You can't do it and like flip it back and get cash out day one. I feel like it's at least 6 months. I think they follow Fannie Mae on it, which they may have just moved to a year. I have to check.
A lot of local banks are 1 to 2 years.
Yeah, yep. Any other questions?
So that can be single family, doesn't have to be multi-unit or anything.
They'll be multis. Yep. Single multis. Yeah, it's great for people with not great tax returns. You know, and you know, here's the thing. If the rental income, the fair market rent doesn't come in where you need it to be, you can just put more money down to get it in line and get the loan done. Cause it's purely based off projected rent income that the appraiser would dictate on an appraisal. So it's just a good tool to have in the tool shed. The next one, we have a program, it's called Dream to Own. It's a conventional 3% down loan. They give you a 4% down payment assistance. You do not have to be a first-time home buyer for this. The second lien is interest only. And it's at the same rate as on the first lien. It's open for first-time home buyers, repeat buyers. The only caveat is you gotta meet, it's gotta be 1 unit and you gotta meet the area median income limits, which I think are like 80-ish. It's like 80 and some change. It's always a weird number. But with that, it's based on borrower qualifying income. So we have another person that's gonna live in the household. We don't put them on the loan, like they don't care about that. So that's kind of the big deal because a lot of people will be up over this, especially if there's like 2 income households. And then last but not least, our FHA down payment assistance program is called Movement Boost. 3.5% down loan, but they give you a 5% second lien with it. It's amortized over 10 years. So this could be like a good alternative for, somebody who maybe doesn't qualify for PHFA because they don't meet the income limits, or, maybe you're concerned about a seller being hesitant to accept an offer with PHFA because they're wary about it. This is an in-house program, gives them down payment assistance. We underwrite it, we close it. You can close one in like 30 days or less sometimes. You have to have a 620 credit score, but it gives you, that money to kind of help you get in. You get like 6% closing help on these, which we're starting to kind of see some closing help on some contracts all of a sudden. If you can get it, a lot of times people are like getting checks back at closing, you know what I mean?
Andrew, on that, like if you're writing up an agreement of sale, are you putting that as a second mortgage contingency?
I don't want to dictate contract law, but yeah, probably I would.
You okay, Deb?
If I'm,
But somebody does a conventional PHFA second.
yep,
You're supposed to write that.
you're 100% supposed to put it on. That's always been a big.
It's not
break.
always, yeah.
You should put it on there. It's really not gonna impact us whether you put it in there or not. They're not gonna like
So
skip
if you're the same underwriting team's underwriting that,
Yeah.
right? So it's out of.
So one of the big strikes about the state bond programs, and if you've been doing real estate long enough, you've experienced this. The state doesn't operate like a private entity, they operate like a government entity. So like you send a loan up there, sometimes they're working on certain term times, they don't close as efficiently. You get delays depending upon, how clean the loan is or not clean the loan is, or what they want to see, or if the lender's on the ball as far as getting documents to them. So, this is a good alternative because it keeps it completely private, keeps it with the lender. There's no government agency that's actually taking a step and looking at the loan. I don't know if anybody experienced this, but like they switched their computer services over last month and they just shut down for like 7 or 8 days. Like they did nothing. It was like a total mess. You had loans that were just like sitting there and they were like, whoops, sorry. Like that was their demeanor. So like, it's a great product because it allows the vehicle for homeownership, but the attitude of the state agency is not always great. It doesn't kind of coincide with our value system. You know what I mean? That's what I would say, but it's a necessary need. So that's all I got for you guys. If you guys have specific questions on any of this stuff, I'll take them now. Anybody have questions?
I have a question for you.
Hit me with it. Johnny, question.
I would rather just send them to you and you explain all this stuff, right?
For sure. I would never want, like, honestly, like, it's kind of, I think sometimes like our job obviously coincides realtor lender, and there's certain times that I have to ask a question as it pertains to a loan, like on how that loan is going to affect, like your marketability as a buyer in the real estate world, right? Like, which maybe some lenders don't necessarily talk about. We try to address it with people just because we feel like it's going to better prepare them for the market space that they're jumping into, but I feel like a lot of people don't have that conversation. So I welcome it, quite honestly.
Nicole, Andrew.
You seeing any FHA loans in this market?
Yep.
Okay.
For probably 35%.
Yeah, I'm
It's
seeing
crazy.
a lot more. than-
Seller help all of a sudden. I think it's based on where you're at. And, up your way, it's nice.
Hey, Andrew, are you seeing seller assist and or compensation? Like commission?
What I've started to see is a lot of companies draw lines in the sand that like, you work on this team, we're getting 3%. And if we don't get the 3%, like buyers got to pay it. I've seen a lot of that, but not necessarily where anybody's being weird about paying compensation. I think I've had like one transaction since that whole thing came down the pipe where like people were like, we're not paying agency transactions. I think most agents are playing nice in the sandbox from what I've seen with it. But I'm sure you're gonna see some outliers from time to time.
Maryland is getting big into that. Maryland is starting to change the mission stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see people being weird when it's like a total seller's market. I feel like the market's kind of. And maybe it's just the cold weather. Maybe it's taken a little bit of a turn to some balance, you know?
Thanks, Andrew. All right, guest speaker of the day is Mr. Danny Mays from Integrity First. Sure we've all had issues with sellers or challenging listings, and he's here to provide you the solutions around that. So Danny, table's yours.
Yeah, thanks. Hi, everybody. It's really cool to be here. I'm in this position at Integrity where I'm doing a lot of these kind of like presentations and like running events and stuff. And Keller Williams is just consistently like the most enjoyable brokerage to be at. Like it seems like people at Keller Williams locations are the happiest. It seems like the meetings are the most bought in. There's the most participation. Like it's really, really cool. I'm going through case work currently. Like it's just like another tool to have in my tool belt to be licensed here soon. It was kind of a no-brainer. So I appreciate you all like listening for a couple minutes. Does anybody in here know what Integrity First is? I'm gonna ask somebody, if someone's got to know, raise your hand. Liz, you're cheating, not Liz. Liz heard of us right up the street. Go ahead.
Just say of us. I don't know a whole lot.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Just say what you think. Like, what do you think that we do?
Oh man, I think you guys do just about everything. Fix and flips, buys and holds. Mostly fix and flips, I guess, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, can I get one more person? If you don't mind, just like, let's join in and make this less weird. Somebody else raise their hand. Go ahead, dive in.
Cash buyer. I think you do list homes as well. So I would say market listings.
Yeah.
Or assisting, but yeah, primarily cash buys.
Yeah, which is exactly what we do. So we're like quick, simple, easy cash buys for situations that aren't just going to be an easy listing. I came into Integrity's team maybe like 2 years ago. I have a background, I was a professional athlete, and then I was in like government contracting and just kind of like a lifetime of hustle, like as weird as that sounds. And so I came onto this team from like a good job because it was explained to me through like Eric and Joe and these guys, like what we do and what they're trying to morph into the market with. So I started here as a director of business development and helping hire and train our internal sales teams, our acquisitions guys, our lead managers, our TC team a little bit. And then throughout my time of being here, we saw this giant need for partnerships and for relationships and for helping other people that touch transactions in central Pennsylvania real estate. So about 8 months ago, I came into this role where I'm working with agents, working with realtors, working with attorneys' offices, I'm working with property managers to be a solution outside of your normal solutions that you guys have. Not so much to compete, but to like complete what you're coming to the table with. So if somebody could, if we could, again, it's not weird if someone just raised their hand quick, that's down, like jump in. Could somebody describe within the last 6 months, like a simple deal that you had in 30 seconds? Something that was kind of like to the T, this is what I'm looking for as a realtor. Anybody, someone's got to have something. Oh, please do.
Starting route to 530.
What'd you say? 10-day close cap. Sweet, simple. Thank you. Happy to meet you. My man, no inspections. So perfect. So in a perfect world, you'd have 100 of those in a year. What a perfect world that would be. Who has something in the last 6 months that was the complete opposite? And please, yeah, please do. Working. So what about that situation is making finance impaired? So just for another show of hands, who here has dealt with? Most hands go up in the room. So again, that's where we kind of want to step in. And that's where I specifically want to step in. I'm working with a lot of realtors and agents in central Pennsylvania at this point as a solution to those situations, where essentially we can work with your buyer or your seller and with you And we can buy that house for a very reasonable price, cash, quick close, easy. All it is you calling me up, and I'll like hand out business cards, like hand out for a presentation or anything. But like, you call me up, this is what I have going on, this is where it's at, let's look at it. And from that point, it's complete transparency. It's us going to the property if we can, all we need is one go through. It'd be great to meet the seller to talk about what's going on. And the three of us sit down and really hash out something that works for them. It could be something outside the box that could create a financing deal if they're underneath their debt. It could be a quick close. It could be something that needs a lot of work. So in that situation, you're gonna be able to walk into like an FHA, you're not gonna be able to walk into a lot of lending options. It kind of like really pigeonholes you. It probably takes a lot, like in your last 9 months, how much of a headache has this been? If this was something that you weren't dealing with, do you think you could have gotten a lot more done in a lot of other areas?
Yes.
That's what we're trying to do. Like, it's nothing more. It's a simple like tool in the toolbox to try and be there and help you all succeed. And to just be another option in a niche situation that we can perfect and really be a good resource to come in and offer open solutions to somebody who's having a tough time. Because I can imagine 9 months ago when they came to you, they're probably in a tough spot. They're probably not in the best health. They probably don't have the best relationships in their life because they're sitting on this problem. And if somebody's selling their house, which is probably their biggest financial asset, as a solution to a problem, everything else is probably falling apart. And now they're coming to you and they're like, oh my gosh, this is my like last minute Hail Mary, just trying to get out of this ditch. And then you as a professional have to be like, dude, there's so much more that needs done here. And now just imagine being in their shoes of like, oh my God, my Hail Mary was incomplete. So like, we're trying to come in and be the solution or a help to those kinds of situations. That's really all it is. Like, I would love if anyone has any questions, but we're trying to be kind of that fallback plan for situations that aren't just your typical, like, get the listing, market it out, sell it. Does anyone have like any questions or any comments or any thoughts?
So you're saying like if I have a seller who is like in a tough spot, you're gonna help them out. How do I get paid?
So that's where it comes into very transparency and negotiation.
Okay.
So.
What don't happen? I'm not here to make money.
Yeah. So that's where like the solution stack comes in. That's where really figuring out what needs to happen in this situation to get it done is going to come into the transparent conversation of like, if this house needs a lot of work and it's worth X amount, going to cost Y amount to get it to whatever the end amount could be. We talk to that transparently with numbers. And then we discuss what it is you need to do. Are you going to be paid as the listing agent? Is there like an LLC referral? Everything has to be legal. But it's like, where do we need to be for you to be made whole to where you're comfortable? And at that point, here's what we can buy that property for. And then that's what it sells for at the end, because we also need to make a profit. And all of those numbers stay completely transparent.
It's different per situation, like you said.
Thank you for bringing it up.
Here's a flat fee and.
Yeah. It can be situational. We have people we work with flat fees. We have people that prefer to just be like the listing agent or the buyer's agent on the one transaction. And then on the back end where we can make it whole is after we renovate it, we'll list it back through you post renovation.
Manny has one right now where I don't know, I can't remember the address, but he sold it using IFHB as the purchaser, and now he's gonna get the listing whenever they finish the renovation. So
Walnut Street.
yeah, so that's a 2 transaction deal right there.
We have a lot of like, go ahead. Whoever.
It has to be a property that we, supposedly doesn't need.
It's all situational, kind of like, of course, every situation, like we can't just buy everything. But there's situations where something doesn't need renovation, but they're upside down on their debt. So maybe we can work out a situation to where we assume the mortgage at a lower rate than what we would traditionally get. And then we can give them kind of like a down payment if it fits. And now we can basically be all in on this property for less than what the total thing costs. We can give them a down payment, assume the mortgage, and then do whatever needs done on the back end, put in a renter to raise equity over time, maybe do some touch ups to bring it up to ARV that it's probably not at. It's all completely situational, but there's very few situations as I'm getting further into this that we can't find a solution for. There's of course like the times where it's like, we literally like have to pay you this much and it's just not enough for what they need. And then you give them a hug and say, we're here to help if the time ever comes. But like, that's the transparency also. Any questions, any thoughts, anything? No big if not.
Another good opportunity for us to see house, or if you have a seller that needs to buy. And they're really worried about like, well, I don't want to put my house on the market and not have another house. We can do, Integrity First could do a cash offer, get them under contract, so you don't have that sale and settlement contingency, you would only have the settlement contingency, which of course makes it a much stronger offer.
So what if they do the cash offer, then that listing price will go.
It's all situational. We had, I bought 2 houses in the past 2 weeks. We paid this, price, believe it or not. But there are plenty of situations where like that just as a business can't make that list price. But then again, we're transparent with it. If they could sell it list price easily, it probably would have. You know,
So a lot of times when you're having a needs analysis conversation with your seller, 2 factors that usually play in is time or money. So if it's time and the home needs work and they want to sell it as is, that's probably a good deal that maybe you go down that route. But if it's money, and you know that, all right, we're gonna try to get the most we can for this property, maybe it's in perfect condition, not always the best cases. So it's all situational.
yeah, it's an easy tool, but we try to gain that here and there. It's. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah.
So let's say the transaction goes down and, you know, we typically, we do business, we stay in contact with our people, might not the next listing, like after, you know, after we work with you, you know what I mean?
So
how do you guys follow up with people that we're bringing to you, or are we now in competition after that transaction?
You are not. So that's where this role, that's why I'm so happy to step into this role. It's different. It's like an enjoyable thing. Thinking about the help of the seller, you're helping me. So if we come in, like Matt, for example, like from the rip, he had a listing book there. Like from the rip, as soon as we're done, whenever that is, the next 60 days, could be a touch up to do, the listing's already in your hands, written in, done. No, it's not even worried about. Like it's not offloading from Liz because we do a ton of other business.
Right.
But if it's one niche situation, no, consider it, but like this is one specific niche situation, like, yeah, whenever I'm here helping realtors, I want it to make worth your while, I'm glad we do it. So it's in writing from the rip. Thank you.
thanks, Dan. Let's get around the hole. All right, giveaway time, and then we're gonna let you guys through here. Danny?
I assume so, yeah.
Okay. Hopefully you don't have to anarchy. Next meeting, Wednesday, February 19th. So mark that down, you'll get invites, but Linda, you wanna go ahead and pull, we'll do a transaction fee, our monthly, and then we have headphones, Eddie Bauer. So, embroidered cooler in this blanket. And I think everyone might want the blanket today. The
Catherine?
cat. You won
I did.
again.
What you want?
They usually Andrew. You like them?
I'd like
Or what does Andrew want? You should ask him. There, blanket, cooler, that transaction monthly.
Yeah.
Transaction, okay.
Abby. Evans.
Oh, Abby. Okay. You don't have to run it all, Bob, just pick something. You're
Okay.
Don't pick yourself.
Oh, here, Greg. Brady?
Brady. Go Brady.
In the blanket.
Take the cooler.
There you go, Brady.
Kenzie.
Kenzie.
I'll do these headphones.
Okay. I mean, the last one's the blanket.
Back in.
No, keep it out and then have Brock pick it or something.
Maybe.
Put a lot of pressure in here.
Dave.
Dave Pottle.
Huddle. Oh, where's he at? Cool. All right, guys, food's in the back. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's all right.
It's